Hello everybody, welcome back to our channel. And if you're new here, very much welcome. We are very glad to have you. Today we're going to be talking about something that can make or break your business: client communication. Today specifically, we're talking about why it fails so often and what we can do about it as creatives and as event industry entrepreneurs. Now, I've worked with hundreds of clients over the years, and I've noticed some patterns in what creates amazing relationships versus what creates frustrating ones. And most times it usually comes down to communication, and that's why I've chosen to talk about it today, because again, as we know, this community is about building entrepreneurs, building women who are on the way to making profitable income and building profitable businesses. Let's go into the most common communication failures and practical ways that we're going to fix those issues. One of them is setting expectations. I have noticed that the biggest communication failure that I see or that I've noticed is most times we event entrepreneurs or we creatives, we assume that our clients understand our process just because we explained it to them once. Now, this is exactly what happens. You have a meeting with your client, your initial consultation, you explain how you work, they agree, they affirm, they nod along, everybody's excited. You believe that they've heard you, and they, of course they know that they agreed, right? And you think or you believe that they've heard what you said. Then 2 weeks later, they are texting you at 10 p.m. in the night asking about things that you swear you had already covered, right? Now, the issue is they're not being difficult, or it doesn't mean that they were not paying attention. They could have been overwhelmed, or maybe they forgot. Again, it's your process, not theirs. When someone's planning a big event or hiring a creative professional, they are processing so much information and little details can get lost. Trust me, it happens. We are humans. You know that. It happens to the best of us too. So cut them some slack. Now, you see, what I do is I follow up every conversation with a summary email. I say things like, this is what we discussed. After every discussion, I'll write down an email or maybe a message or just a WhatsApp chat or a text message to say, this is what we discussed. But emails are better because they are traceable. You can always go back to them and refer back to them, right? Now, I'll say, this is what we discussed, and these are the next steps. This is blah, blah, blah. This is when you're going to hear from me next. This is the processes I'm going to be putting in place from now till the next time we're going to communicate. It literally takes 5 minutes to do this, and it prevents so much confusion. It also keeps you professional and makes you look like you know what you're doing. People need information in different formats, different ways. Some learn by hearing, some learn by reading, some by doing. You see, when you only explain something once in one way, you're hoping that their learning style matches your communication style, which most times is not the same, right? Now, another huge mistake that we entrepreneurs make is, we event entrepreneurs, of course, is only communicating when there is a problem or when you need something from them. Now, think about it from their own perspective. You hire someone for something important, then you only hear from them when something is wrong or when they need a decision. How would that make you feel? Would you like it? See, I learned this lesson from a client who seemed constantly anxious. She was always calling and texting more than usual. She was asking for updates on things that we had already handled. I was also getting frustrated on the other hand, because I thought everything was on track. I believed that everything was on track. I was handling everything. But then I realized that she wasn't hearing from me unless when I had a problem, unless there was an issue. So in her mind, no news meant bad news was coming, right? So she was anxious because she didn't know what was happening. I wasn't giving her constant information. I wasn't keeping her in the loop. I was just working behind the scenes, just, of course, because I wanted her to be free or, do what she wants. But then she also wanted to be in the picture. She wanted to know what's going on at every point in time, right? So you need to understand your client and understand how they work so you'll be able to work with them the way they work, right? Now, what I do is I send regular updates even when nothing is happening. I just say, oh, hello ma'am, hello sir, everything is on track, venues have been confirmed, I just wanted you to know, right? It takes literally 2 minutes to do, and this saves everyone stress. That way they're in the picture, they know that things are working, they know that you're not just leaving their work undone or something. Right? Now, another issue again we face, or we creative entrepreneurs face in this business regarding communication, is talking the event jargons, speaking the languages that, that only us know, that the clients are not aware about. We do this most times without even realizing it. We use industry language that makes perfect sense to us, but it sounds like gibberish to our clients. One time I told my client, we needed to strike the linens after dinner service, for the flip. And she looked at me like I was speaking something else. And I honestly was, because she wasn't understanding what I was saying. Now, you see, when you work in an industry every day, you forget that those terms you use constantly are completely foreign to everyone else. And clients often won't ask what something means because they don't want to seem stupid. They don't want to seem like they are not aware of what you're saying, right? Now, what I do is I catch myself using jargon and immediately translate. Anytime I see that I'm using words that are, only industry specific, I switch to regular language that my clients can understand, right? Instead of we need to strike the linens, that means I would rather say we need to remove the tablecloths, right? It's simple, it's easy, everybody can get that. Instead of saying, after dinner, we can flip the room. All I have to say is we can rearrange the room for the next activity or for dancing or something. That way, the client understands what I'm saying and we are both happy. Clear communication is not just about being understood. It's about making your clients feel included and informed, not confused and left out. Now, the next thing I'm going to talk about is response time. How quickly do you respond to your clients' inquiries? Now, one of the simplest fixes that makes the biggest difference is telling your clients when they will hear back from you. Exactly the time that they will hear back from you. Now, someone emails you, let's say, for example, someone emails you a question. You're busy, so you make a mental note to respond when you have time, so that you'll be able to give a thorough answer, properly thought out answer. From your perspective, you're being very thoughtful, but from their perspective, you're ignoring them. They don't know what you're thinking, right? They don't know that, you're busy now, you're going to respond later. You don't want to rush. You don't want to rush the answer. They don't know that. They will just feel like they don't respond. This person doesn't respond. So what I do is I set clear response expectations up front. I tell my clients, I check emails twice a day and I respond within 24 hours. If it's urgent, please text me. This I usually stick to. Now, don't give clients an information and then you do the opposite, right? So when I tell them this information, they know. So when they send me an email and I don't respond immediately, they understand that, I already told them that I respond within 24 hours and I'm definitely going to respond within that 24 hours, right? You see, this one change eliminates most times over 75% of anxious clients calls, right? Because they know when to expect a response, so they don't worry in the meantime if they don't receive my response immediately. The next thing I'm going to talk about is the celebration factor. Now, this is what most people miss. We celebrate small wins along the way. Most of us focus on problems and logistics, things like, the caterer needs a head count, the venue needs a deposit, the florist needs approval. All these are necessary, but not exactly exciting. Please learn to share exciting news to your clients as well. Think about how much exciting stuff happens during the project that you're handling. Things like, you book their dream venue, you find the perfect vendor, you solve a tricky logistics problem. These are all wins that are worth celebrating. Now, anytime something good happens, please share the excitement with them. Things like, I just got confirmation from your dream photographer. She's available, or he says it's going to be available. This is going to be amazing. This message helps them to calm down. It also helps them to feel like, their event is going well, or the planning process, of course, is, you're excited about what you're doing for them, and They also feel relaxed because they know that, okay, they are getting their dream vendor, everything is working out fine. It helps them to work with you better. Trust me, it takes the same amount of time to send. Just 2 minutes to send these messages out. Let them be in the loop of whatever process that is coming to you or that you're into, right? Instead of only just messaging them during logistics or maybe doing serious things, or, you get what I mean. Finally, I would say create feedback loops during your process, not just at the end. What do I mean? You see, most people ask for feedback after all the work is done. By then, if there were issues along the way, it will be too late to fix them. But what I do is, I do mid-project check-ins. What does that mean? Within the project, while the project is still on, I do check-ins or ask, okay, how are you feeling about everything so far? Is there anything you would like me to adjust, or is there anything you would like me to do differently? This way it feels vulnerable, but then it prevents big surprises, right? This way they know that you actually care about the work you're doing. You want to see the results. You want to, you want to make sure that the work is done the way they want it and good, right? People do appreciate being asked, and small course corrections during the process are way better than major changes at the end. It's better that while the process is still going on, you can make some changes that will not cause drastic issues at the end of the day, right? So please try to have those feedback loops within your projects, not at the end. Now, in wrapping up, I want to say that perfect communication does not exist, but intentional communication makes the difference. Now, every time you have a client or every time you work with a client, try to summarize important conversations in writing. Communicate with them regularly, even when nothing is happening. Just check in on them. How are you doing? This is what I'm working on, right? Translate industry jargons into plain languages so that they can understand what you're saying and everybody is on the right path. Another thing is set clear response expectations, please. Then celebrate wins along the way. And finally, ask for feedback before it's too late to act on them. Well, if you do want to dive deeper into client relationship strategies, do join our free Skool community where we share templates, we share scripts and real-world examples that actually work. And remember, communication is not only just about sharing information, it's about making people heard, making people seen, making people understood and valued. That's what turns clients into advocates. These clients, we want them to refer their friends, refer their family, will come back again for our events, right? Or come back again to use us. So clear communication, when we work with them and they're happy to work with us, they will definitely always come back next time. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please put in the comments if you did enjoy, or something that stood out for you, or maybe something that we didn't say, maybe say correctly that you think would have said better. Please do put in the comments, or maybe your own perspective as well. I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching. Bye.